All right, everybody, it's Thursday today, which means we have a upper body strength and core workout today. So for equipment, you guys can see I have my chair out. I'm going to be using it for some things. Of course, I have options if you do not have a chair like such. Underneath the chair as well, I'm just gonna let one more in here. We have an 8-pound set of dumbbells, the only set of dumbbells that I have, as well as these loop bands. And this long band, I'm going to be using it specifically in the warm-up. So if you have a long band, bring them out. Again, if you do not have any of the above, I have options, including body weight options. So we're going to start you guys off with this warm-up with this band right here. We're going to hold it as wide as we can. They're pass-throughs that we know and love. So these ones, we're starting off with 20 of them. I have just my thumbs looped through this long band here. If you have the band with the handles or no band at all, we're just going to hold out as wide as we can and then open up the palms as we go back and then close the palms as we go forward. And we'll go through 20 of those total. Warming it up, loosening it up. Come on in, come on in. Good morning. All right, come on in, you guys. So we're starting off with these pass-throughs. Oh, they feel pretty good after all that stuff that we've been doing the last couple days. So we'll go through 20 of these back and forth. Once we're done 20, we're going to put that band down and keep our arms out to the sides. Do our little swimmer arms. Oh, these ones burn. So we'll face the palms down to the floor. You guys can just follow along. You don't have to necessarily count these. I find them quite tedious to count. So I have a 10-second, I have a running clock going, and we're doing 10 seconds this way, and that is coming to an end right about now, which we'll turn the palms facing each other, and we'll do these forward and backward. So we're trying to produce that burning sensation in our shoulders, which you're probably already feeling, and if you're not, we're gonna hold it here for about 5 more seconds. Following this one, we'll turn the palms back down, and we'll just swing out those arms. One up, and then we alternate one down. We'll go through 20, so yes, please count these ones. Alternating 10 each way. Swing them out until you feel, ooh, the shoulders are burning. And then we are going to grab onto our band again and grab them a little bit wider than our shoulders. And if you do not have a band, you are holding the air, pretending that you have a band. We're going to press the band up and over our head and then bring it behind our neck onto the back of our shoulders, which you don't necessarily need to touch, but ideally I want you to touch. And then we'll press all the way up, bring it back down to the collarbones. So there and back is 1. We're going to do that 5 times total. So there and back, that's 2. And I'm trying my best not to move my head or my neck out of the way. I'm making my arms and move out of the way rather than poking and pulling the neck forward. So 5 times there and back equals 1 of those ones. And we have one more to do with this band in our hands. So once you guys are done that, do not put the band down. You can actually keep your hands in the exact same position. We're going to pull the band apart, going through 20 reps total of these band pull aparts. If you don't have the band, we know that this bent over thumbs up one is the option for us. If we don't have a band, this is the one that you can do. Same thing, we're trying to drag the shoulder blades together, and you will go through 20 of those. There they are. So another thing to note is that if you guys are working with a stronger band, you can always drop 1/2 the band like this and just pull apart 1/2 of the band, which will make it a lot more manageable if you have a stronger band. So that one, put it down and bring ourselves down to the floor. Come on down here. So working with our hands and knee position, we want the shoulders stacked over the wrists. The hips over the knees. We'll take that one hand, put it behind our head, close, bring that elbow as close to the top of the head as we can, and then exhale and open, trying to see if we can see the ceiling right above our head. Maybe not, that's okay. We'll exhale, and as we go through 10, because we're going to do 10 per side, we'll see if eventually we can make that eye contact with the ceiling, and I'm talking the ceiling like above ourselves, okay, not over there. We'll try to look right above ourselves, avoiding any movement in the legs. So we'll do this on both sides, 10 and 10. So this one is a very familiar motion for us, this rotating, opening motion for our mid-back and our lower backs. That's where we should feel it. If you're not feeling it, you might have some of that shifting going on. So we'll try to tighten that up. So we'll do that both sides, 10 and 10. There's these little prickle things from the tree outside all over the floor. They're like actually prickly. Okay, so once you are done 10 and 10, we are back up to the top. Welcome back. We have one more that we're going to do with our band, so you guys can grab it. If you do not have a long band like this, for this last one, you can also use your loop band, so you can just hold it in your hands like this. We're going to get ourselves into this 90-degree position with our arms, holding our band in an underhand grip. Now again, if you do not have a band like this, you can just grab something, whether it's a towel or a loop band like this, so that you have some tension going out sideways. And then what we are going to do is put ourselves into this tension and then lift and lower the arms. And we'll go through this 10 times total, where we're keeping this tension, keeping the 90 degrees, lifting and lowering, tapping into that rotator cuff, so it should feel a lot of burning in the shoulder, okay, and it should be like that build-up burn, okay, not the sharp, pinchy pain. We'll just work with the lifting and lowering, 10 total, and then once you're done, you can do one more set of these arm swings, simply because they are going to feel really good after doing that external rotation, that one that you just did that we're pulling out. So I'll let you guys finish up there. Woo! Once you're done, you can grab yourself a little bit of water. We are going to get this party started with our first superset. So we're going to be combining 2 exercises done back to back with little to no rest in between, because we're working different muscle groups in these 2 movements. The first one is going to be a 1-arm standing shoulder press. You guys are going to be working with ideally dumbbells in your hands, strong arm out here, loaded up right here, pressing up over your head. We have a range today, 12 to 15. So you can stop at 12, or you can do 15, or you can do 13. Okay, but whatever you do on the first side, we're keeping it as even as possible on both sides. So we'll start with this one, and then I will talk about the one that we are pairing this one with. So grab onto your dumbbells. If you do not have dumbbells, we can hold the band sideways like this and press up against the band like so. What we're going to do for our very first set, I am going to be eventually using both of these dumbbells here, but my shoulder, that 16-pound weight with the 2 8s, that's a little bit heavy for my first set. So I'm going to go through one set with a single dumbbell to prepare and warm up my shoulder for this heavier press. Something I would highly suggest you do, especially if you guys are working with like a double stack dumbbell or a heavier dumbbell. Okay, if you have heavy dumbbells, you probably have like a lighter one kicking around. So grab it and press up, and we'll go through 12 reps for this first set. If you don't have a variety of dumbbells, just work with a normal tempo, and we will figure out how to make it a little bit harder if we need to, and we'll talk about it as we go. But we're in this neutral position. Out here wide, I want to be right here, so I have that slight angle out in my arm. Strong arm that's not pressing. Okay, so let's go through 12, and then you can switch, and we'll do 12 on the other side here. There they are. Okay, so if you want to ask me about it, that 8-pound dumbbell there, that was a little bit light, okay, and I definitely could handle another one on it. So we're going to go right into another set of that shoulder press, okay, because most likely it was a little bit easy. Okay, maybe you started to feel the burn, but we want to make it so that we do not want to do more than 12. But we have that range, so just in case we're not feeling that way, we can push out an extra 3 reps. So what we'll do right now is go back to our first side, ideally making this next set here harder, all right? So grab onto either more weight and see if you can press it up over for 12 reps, okay? Or if you don't have more weight, then you're doing 15 reps, maybe working with a slight pause at the top. I know my arm gets a little bit cut off on the screen here, but this is the hardest part, when the weight is at the top and I'm having to hold it from stabilizing it and keep it from falling down and keep it up there. So that is where we will spend more time if we want to make this harder, is at the top of that rep. So we'll try to get through 12 over here, and then we shall switch and do 12 over here. Nice strong core, strong arm. Try and exhale as we push that dumbbell up at 12 and at 12. Okay. So with this one, we are headed down onto the floor. You probably saw this coming. You guys have your pull-in Superman. So this is probably my favorite exercise, body weight exercise to target our lat muscles, the big back muscles that run down the sides of our back. So what we're going to do is lay down on our tummies, all of us. Bring your band with you if you have it. Maybe it's already close like mine. And we also need some space. We're just going to reach back. I'm very, just enough space here. Okay, so I'm gonna hold the band a little bit wider than my shoulders, and I'm going to keep my legs on the floor. I just don't have enough space. There we go. So arms up, and we will pull into our collarbones, trying to keep our arms up the entire time. And we're going through the same amount of reps that we did on that single arm press. Okay, so if you did 12, I want you to do 12 down here. If you did 15, then I want you to do 15 down here, all right? So let's get it going on, trying to pull in. And if you don't have a long band, you can either loop 2 of your small bands together, grab a towel, or just use your arms. That works too, okay? But having that sideways tension, that lateral tension, does help us involve more, which is why you should do it if you have it. Okay, so 12 to 15, okay? Now, like I said at the very beginning, we are doing these 2 back to back to back. No rest in between, okay? Just the time that it takes us to stand up off of the floor once we're done that one, okay? And then we are going right into our second set. You guys are completing 3 more total, okay? So we're going right into that next one. Shoulder press, working with the heavier option, their harder option, whether it was with more weight. Okay, going through your 12 to 15. So just as always, you most likely have one side that is a little bit, or maybe substantially, harder than the other. If that's the case, and if you know what side that is, you should start that side, okay? So I'm always talking about my right side on my lower body, but my left side on my upper body is the weak side. So I always start pressing with my left side, because I just know that it's always going to be harder, and I'm never going to be able to do as much as my right side, and I don't want to make that imbalance that I have any worse. So I put the first set, the stronger set, onto my weaker side. Okay, so let's do it. 12 to 15, there they are. Okay, both sides, we got it. Actually, we need more space. I don't know why I feel so close. Okay, so the Superman. There you go. All right, so onto our second set of these Superman pull-ins. So we're going through these ones again, talking about these big back muscles here. If you're not feeling that there, you probably simply just have to think about it more. A couple things that you can think about in your set is, again, adding that sideways tension with your hands. So whatever you're holding, whether it's a towel, it's going to be. But we don't want our hands too wide, so we want them a little bit wider than our shoulders, kind of in this position here. So what I would do if my arms are like out here like this is I just hold the band more narrow. So I hold it a little bit closer, and that is going to make this a lot harder. The other thing that we can do is push the elbows down into the floor. Very simple, very effective. Try it. If you drive the elbows down, we're putting our shoulders into that open position. It allows us to actually squeeze and feel this a lot more. So we can take that into this next set, is having the elbows be driven down into the floor rather than lifting up to the ceiling. Okay, so 2 more rounds. Hopefully you guys are feeling warm to this game. Hi, Hannah. Okay. Third set, right into it. Back to our presses. There we go. Okay. So we'll work with, and trying to see if we can get that 15, okay? But if you can make 12 challenging, if you can make 12 hard so that you cannot do 15, that is what I would prefer over you doing 15 and thinking that you can maybe do 20. So if you are not feeling extremely worked by the end of the set, you need to make it a little bit harder. Okay, you have one more chance, this one, of course, and then one more after this to really get the most out of these sets. 12. All right. Nice strong core. We got it going on. You guys can think about pulling your belly button into your spine. especially if you are prone to sensitive lower back or lower back pain. These standing ones, really got to be careful with, because especially if we are pushing something a little heavier than we want to, it's very easy for us to put ourselves into this kind of arched position, which puts a lot of stress, all the weight in your hand onto your lower back. So we can avoid that by squeezing our butt, like activating our glutes and activating our core, which activates that built-in weight belt that I'm always talking about, that we all have. It is in there. It is our core muscles, okay? But you have to think about them sometimes. So we have one more set. Okay, same thing applies down on the floor here. We should not be feeling any work in our lower back. If that's happening, you are probably lifting, which is normal in a Superman, because we're taught to do them like this. But in this one, I don't want you to do that, okay? Legs, feet have to stay down. If you're feeling the back, activate your glutes. Squeeze your butt and hold it the whole set. See how you feel. Let's do it. Okay, we have one more set. Woo! And time. We're really good. Yeah, you guys have about 3 minutes. Okay. This is it. The last set of these two. So we'll get them done. Final round. Shoulder presses, strong body, strong core, strong arm. Pressing up. Keeping it still. Okay, 12 and 12. See if you can crank out 15 maybe on this last set. But you got to be able to do it on both sides. Okay, so finishing off with our last set of the Supermans. Let's get it. Okay. All right, final round, you guys. I'm going to give you just over 1 minute to finish up your final set of these two before we move on to the next two. There you go. Okay, so take your sweet time. As you guys are coming to an end, these guys are still giving you just about 1 minute, just under a minute to finish up. So if you're done already, you got some water, shake it out, think about how good you feel. We're moving on to the next two exercises with an optional TRX movement. So I did not mention that at the very beginning. So if you guys want to use a TRX, if you have it, if you want to hang it up, if it's easy to hang up, it is an option because we are going to be rowing. So what we have coming up next here, again, is a quick sit of H2O. Once you are done that superset, we are going to be working with a one-arm neutral grip row. I'm going to be using this chair and my 2 dumbbells stacked on top, same thing as I did on that shoulder press, in a neutral row right here, working one arm at a time. Again, if you have a TRX, that is a wonderful option, so you can use your body weight. Hold that one arm, same strong arm out here, and then you'll pull your body weight up instead of being in this position here. The reason why I'm choosing this or the TRX, and I'm specifying those two, is because they give us lots of support for our core as opposed to like a bent over row like this or our other variations of rows. So let's set ourselves up for this. We are going to pair this with a shoulder exercise. So we have the same style where we're not really resting too much. We're just kind of working through this. So we'll start off with this first set of these rows. You guys have the same range, 12 to 15 reps of these one-arm rows. So we'll grab onto our weights. We can go right into our heavy set. We don't need a warm-up set because we're nice and warm. And we will pull in the weights, going through 12 per side. Okay, so again, ideally 12. But we have that range there because some of us don't really have the heaviest weights, the heavy enough weights to make 12 challenging. So we can go up to 15 if you have lighter weights or if you're working with bands, okay, or if you can't make 12 hard enough for yourself. So we'll go through this, do it on both sides, do it up, see how we feel. Very nice, okay? If you don't have a chair, if you don't have a TRX, and you're like, what do I do for that core support? You can turn around and use your wall or put your hand on your leg, like we've talked about before, okay? But those two are ideal. All right, so we'll get this on both sides. Even reps. You got it. Okay, very nice. So we have both sides on those ones. And then with this one, we have a lateral raise variation. So we're gonna hold our dumbbells down by our sides like this. These 8-pounders, they are really gonna push the limits here, but I'm gonna try them out. If you guys are working with lighter or heavier dumbbells, a reminder that we still can use them. I'm gonna give you options, so just grab onto whatever you have. If you're working with bands, ideally you want a longer band, like this style band here, because we're going to be working with a lateral raise like this. So if you don't have a long band like this, you can grab onto your 2 loop bands and use those ones instead. Okay, but I'm gonna use dumbbells. What we're going to do is lift up into a T and then add a half rep into that lateral. And that was 1, and we're doing 8 of those. So we go T, down to the A, up to the T, and all the way down to the I, that's 2, okay? So we'll work with this one nice, slow and controlled, trying to pause at each point, okay? So we're not just like bouncing in and out and using momentum. I want you to stop, stop, stop again, and then stop down here, okay? We're counting out 8 of those total. And if you're working with something that's a little bit too heavy, what you can do is add a bend into your arms, and it'll make it feel a lot more manageable than having those weights with the straight arms. Okay, do it. So, woo, this is you guys. We're gonna repeat 3 more rounds. Back to the rows, okay? Working with that range, all right? So again, ideally, I want you to do 12 really hard ones per side. And then we'll go through 3 more rounds like this. Let's do it. So again, if you guys are working with bands, remember more than 1 band will always make this harder. We want to also make sure that that band is safely anchored around the hand and the foot. We've had some experiences recently with, unfortunately, Bobby. She had an incident where the dumbbell and the band kind of dropped and kind of slingshotted down. And so just be careful, you guys. This is a reminder. And if you are choosing to do stuff, safety always first, okay? So make sure that everything's anchored and you're not gonna slingshot yourself, because no one wants that. And once you do it, you will learn your lesson, okay? As long as you don't get hurt in the process. Okay, so let's do that both sides, and then we have the 12. The 8. 12 down there. Okay, so laterals, working with our A. So lift up, we should be in line. Down here, make sure you're in that A position, back up, and then as you go through your set, you'll kind of get a feel for it. If you need to kind of check yourself, because you probably don't have the mirrors set up in your place, and it's hard to see ourselves on this little screen here, unless you have your video pulled up. So we'll get through those. 2 more sets, my friends. Let's do it. Okay, rows. So when we are rowing, pausing the rows is one of the most effective ways to make them feel harder and actually involve more of your back muscles. So again, for the 12, you can pull it in, no matter what your weights, your band, whatever you're using, you can hold here for 1, 2, maybe even 3 seconds before you leave every single rep, okay? And I highly suggest you do that if you are not feeling anything back here, okay? You should be feeling that almost every single rep, especially like those last 5 or 6 that you're doing. You should be really getting that going on. Okay. Laterals. There we go. Okay, so for the band, we have the same format with the A. Okay, 8 reps. You got it. Okay, so we got 2 more sets. And looking good. Good job, you guys. Perfect. Let's get it. Now these lateral ones, these ones are surprisingly harder than they look there. It's to stop the weight halfway and lift them up. It's like, ooh, it burns. Maybe not quite as bad as when we have to hold. I don't know. It's questionable. All right, we're going to get her done. We have one more set to do after this one, most likely. My brother's dog is up here joining me. The clicking. All right, so let's get her done. The last set. Final round of these two. Okay, you guys have time. We actually have about 3 minutes. So lots of time to finish up this one and the last one. Okay, so I do encourage you again to pause, take a little bit longer to finish your final set here. This is your last one of these two for today, for the week. So we'll really try to finish strong. Okay. Good work, you guys. Making sure we're plugged in. Yes. All right. Oh, the back and the shoulders. Woo. All right. Final set. Lateral raises. With that half rep at the top. Oh, it burns. Take your time with it. Okay, after this, we have one more part to our strength. And then we are hanging out on the floor. Working the core. Home stretch. All right, so once you guys are finished your fourth set, you can grab yourself some water. I'm going to give you just about 1 minute here, just under a minute to finish up. So if you're not done, you have about a minute to do your thing here. Take your time. And if you already are done, you're resting from an H2O, getting yourself mentally prepared for the last part, woohoo, which is 3 exercises done, same style, back to back. We're not taking much rest today. Last part, actually, we do have some rest for the core. But this next part here, we're going to follow the same format. We're just combining these 3 exercises, going between them, and we're following as many reps, or as many rounds, rather, as we can in 10 minutes. Okay, so we do have time. So keep going there, finish it up, do your thing here. I am going to put our timer on, which is just going to count down 10 minutes. We're going to have these 3 movements. I'm going to give you a certain amount of reps for each exercise, and you are going to complete as many sets as you can in our 10 minutes that we have. Okay, are you guys ready? So I'm going to explain all 3 before I actually press start on this timer so that you know what's going on and you can work through this at your own pace. Okay, so for the very first one, we are going to want our dumbbells. You guys are working with our rear delt flies. So we're going to get ourselves into a narrow stance in our feet, soft knees, hinge the hips back, palms face each other, and then I'm going to open up the arms into that same T position, working with 15 reps is the number to beat. Now, if you don't have dumbbells, you can do this holding a band in your hands, opening up like this, or worst case, just with your thumbs. That works too, okay? So we're working with 15. As I explain these, if you guys want to just try a quick set, you can kind of warm up for them, that's okay. So that is going to be the first exercise, okay? Second one is a plank row. So I'm going to do it off of this bench, this chair right here, and I want to make sure that it's pushed up against something so that it's not going to slide out, okay? If you guys don't have a chair or a bench, you can do this off of the floor on your hands like this, okay? But ideally, I want you to have something so that we can work off of our forearm. So we're going to be right here in this plank position, and you'll be working with 12 reps per side. So we'll do 12 over here, and then switch and do 12 on the other side. Okay, so you guys can start, if you want to do a quick set of that one there, feel it out, test it out, okay? If you want to save your juice for the working sets, that's all right. Okay, we've been there before. The goal in that one is to avoid that tilting, that shifting that wants to happen next. So that is the second one. okay? Last one, we need those dumbbells again. We're gonna hold them down by our sides and palms face the hips. We're going to curl and rotate so that our palms face our shoulders. And then I'm going to press and rotate so that my palms face you. And then I unrotate and I unrotate. And we're working with 10 of these total. Okay, so again, if you want to try a couple of these out, I will help you out with the coordination because there's a lot of that. We rotate and then we rotate. And I'm just going to kneel so you guys can see what's happening with my palms here and then here. Okay, so what I'm going to do right now is go press start on that timer because I haven't pressed start yet. All right, and you guys are going to work with this for 10 minutes. Okay, and then you're going to be done with this part. And I just pressed start, so let's do it. So back to the first one, our rear delt flies. So it's kind of a descending rep range. We start with 15, then we do 12, and then we finish with 10. So you can remember that as you go through these sets. So we're back to this one, the rear delt flies, straight arms lifting up into that T. Same rules apply. If your dumbbells are a little heavy, you can try bending your arms, bringing those dumbbells in a bit closer, and it will just overall make it feel a lot more manageable. Okay, so we'll get that in. 15 of them. Straight arms, very nice. Okay, 15. Very good. And then we're going down into this plank. Now, if you guys do not have dumbbells, you can hold any sort of item like a water bottle or something in your hand. Or worst case, you really don't have to hold anything. Excuse me, because the most important part is that tilting, controlling that tilting in the hips rather. So it doesn't really matter what you're holding in your hand, because no matter what it is, just positioning yourself on that one arm or that one hand, that is going to be work. Okay, so you can even just have your fist in your hands rather than holding an actual weighted object. But keep in mind that the weight will influence how hard this is. So if you're working with something heavier, it's going to be harder because it's more weight for you to pull against. Okay. Woo, 12 and 12. I think that one is potentially the hardest one. That plank row situation. Okay. So finishing off with this final one, I've kind of moved my camera up so you guys can see my arms at the top. Then palms face the legs. We're going to curl and rotate so the palms face the shoulders, and then push and rotate so that the palms face the screen. And then we'll unpress, unrotate, uncurl, unrotate, and that was one rep, okay? You're doing that 10 times. So we'll go through those, little bit of brain work and having to think about all those rotations. And if you are at our wrists like this, we want like a medium strength band or a lighter band. And then because we have that that tension outward, we don't have to worry about those rotations because we're working the shoulders the whole time with this sideways band, okay? So if you don't have dumbbells, that's what's up for that last one. Woo, okay, so yes, hopefully you guys are feeling good. We have 7.5 minutes left. So, you know, lots of time / not a lot of time. We're gonna go through probably about 2 more rounds of these 3 movements together. So we'll try our best to go right into our second set. Back to the first one, those rear delt flies. Now I cannot stress enough how important it is to set up properly in this one, to set up with that nice posture. So we'll grab onto whatever we're using, set up our feet, stand up tall, soften our knees, and stick our hips behind us so that we hinge in that nice position. We don't want to be parallel with the floor. We want to be up sort of on a 45, and then straight arms, palms face down. Think about leading the way with the pinkies, lifting up. Shoulders pulled together, and we'll go through a burn-in 15 reps of that one. There you go. Okay. All right. Very nice. Okay, so if you guys are working with bands, you can go same thing with the band. All right, so we're just about halfway there, just over halfway. Woohoo! All right, plank rowing. Woo. Controlling the hips. You got it. Remember with that plank, anytime we're planking and having to like lift something, move and stop the hips from moving, wider feet is easier, okay? If you think the wider your feet, the wider your base of support, so the easier it's going to be to support yourselves. On the flip side, if you're finding that one kind of easy, okay, for all you freak fans out there that are finding this easy, if you narrow your feet, if you go into a plank and you have your feet almost touching together rather than shoulder width or wide like this, oh, it's going to be a lot harder, okay? So I will not be joining you on that quite yet, but if that is something that you want to try, you guys have 5 minutes left, okay? So we're officially halfway through the 10. Not too bad, all right? So we'll try to get through this one, maybe 1 to 2 more rounds of these 3 for the upper body. There it is, okay, yes. So curling, all those little rotations, 10 of them. There you go. Nice work, you guys, okay? Good job. So again, palms face the legs. We curl and rotate so the palms face the shoulders. And then we press and rotate so the palms face away at the top. And then follow that same cycle on the way down. As you do it, it becomes more natural, but honestly, the first couple sets, you really do have to think about it quite a bit. All right, so we'll get going right into our 3rd set. Woo-hoo. Back to those rear delt flies. So because we're doing 15, you most likely don't really have to think about making these harder, okay? But same rules always apply as for every exercise, okay? Slowing down and pausing. So for this one, you probably feel it, but right here is the hardest place, okay? So if you want to make it a little bit more challenging, you can spend some more time at the top here, and yeah, just kind of feel more. We got 3 minutes left to get this in. There you go. Okay, so breathing through this. Let's get 1 more round in. Yes. Good job, guys. Okay. Woohoo! So we have just about 2 minutes left to do our thing here. Look at the last part. Which takes us 16 minutes, and then we are done and free to go, okay? But we're gonna keep going on this part. So anytime we do these as many rounds as possible, the AMRAP, the acronym, this 10-minute time cap rather, you might find that you finish and you're kind of halfway through a set where you're thinking about just starting one. So today we do have a couple minutes of transition time, or what time to rest between this part and the last circuit, the core circuit down on the floor. So when this timer goes off in just about 1.5 minutes, if you're kind of halfway through a set, or if you're like halfway through the whole superset, whatever it is, if you want to finish up this final set, you will have a couple minutes of time between now or then and when I start you on the final part here, okay? So that's my little disclaimer. So if you're like halfway through a set, I don't want you to just stop, you know, on rep like 5 or 7. I want you to finish up that set. Or maybe even finish up that set and the next exercise so you can just finish that entire set. Hopefully that makes sense, okay? All right, you guys have 1 minute left though, which is up to time to get 1 more set of one of these exercises in at least. So let's do it. Finishing strong on the upper body, because you know what's up for the last part here. We're gonna be down on the floor, working all things in our core and our abs, which is questionably going to be harder than this part. I don't know. Depends on you. Okay, but we have 30 seconds left until this timer is going to go off. Until we're going to all listen to my morning alarm, because that's what this is set on. All right, so let's keep working through this. Breathing through this. You got it. Okay, so last chance with these ones, you guys. If you are finished your final exercise, then I would suggest you just rest because we have about 10 seconds left before this guy's gonna go off. And then we can all grab some water and rest a little bit. And there it is. Nice work. Woohoo! Okay. So again, if you would like to finish up, that is coolin'. But if not, then just grab yourself some water, and we are going to bring ourselves down onto the floor. That is kind of a weird angle. So you guys are not needing that chair, that bench. So I'm going to move it out of the way because it takes up most of my space anyways. So you don't have to move yours if it's not in the way. But that is there. And then what we're going to need is one dumbbell or a water bottle or a household item, something just to hold in our hands for a couple of these. So hopefully you're feeling good. We are going to bring ourselves down on the floor, and I'm talking to stay, okay? So you guys can come on down here, make sure that you have a little bit of space around your mat. Place is clear, have some sort of weighted object, whether it's an actual dumbbell or a water bottle or something like that. And we are going to do our thing here for the last part. So we're working off of a timer, which is good news. You don't have to count. Yay! We're going to be setting this timer for 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off. So we're working for 40 seconds, resting for 20 seconds. We have 4 exercises, or 3 exercises rather. One of them is a double-sided one. And we are going to do 4 sets total, okay? So this first one is going to be a side plank. We're going to hold a side plank for 40 seconds on one side. Woo, yes. And then rest for 20. And then 40 seconds on the other side. Oh, yeah. And then I'll show you the other 2 movements that we're going to do in this circuit after we're finished this first set of side planks, okay? Because we're going to get these done, okay? Because they're not going to be easy. So get yourself laying down onto one side. We're going to go through the versions of the side plank, starting from the hardest one, working down to the easiest one, okay? So hardest one, we're going to stack our feet and legs on top of each other, have our forearms so that our arm is facing in front of us like so, and then our palm is facing the floor. We'll lift up, and I'm going to press start in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. I pressed it. You didn't get a beep though. I think my phone's on silent. And we are going to hold this here. Just hang out here for 40 seconds. Now, if this is already too hard, you can take your top foot and move it off so that you have a wider stance in your feet. Okay, so this is kind of like easier level. If we need to take it down even further, then you can drop down and lift up from that half side plank on your knees, because you have 15 more seconds that you have to stay here. Okay, let me make sure my phone volume's on, because that beep effect, we need that. We need that beep. Okay, we mentally need it. 3, 2, 1, and there it is. Okay, rest. Nice work with that. Okay, so we're going to switch sides. So I'm going to just turn around so I can still face you, or you can just flip over. It does not really matter. And you're going to lift up and do the exact same thing that you did. Okay, so most likely you tried the harder version, because I kind of made you up. All right, so let's try it on this side. And then just follow whatever you did on the other side. So maybe you tried to hold this for about 5-10 seconds. You realize that ain't no way you're going to be able to hold this for 40. So you widened up your feet. Okay, and then maybe you drop down to your knees. Whatever it was, we need to keep it even. And ideally, I don't want you to move through these levels. I want you to just find one and hold it there. Okay, and just work with it as best as you can. 15 seconds left. Oh, yeah. Okay, you got this. 3, 2, 1, and we are resting. Nice job. Okay, so the second exercise, we're going to need that object, that weighted object. I'm going to hold this 8-pound dumbbell in my hands, sideways like this, dog bone style, and get myself into this V position. I'm going to turn one way, turn the other way, and then press up over my head. And then I'll turn, and then press up over my head. And we're working with this one, and for 40 seconds. This is too challenging. We can raise the heels on the floor like so that we have a bit of support here. Okay, and you guys are doing your thing for 20 seconds. Okay, if you want to make it a bit more challenging, what you can do is straighten out the legs, dip down a little bit lower, okay, and see how that feels. Just see how it feels. All right, 10 seconds left. Woohoo! 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice job, you guys. Okay, so the last one, we're going to need this dumbbell in our hands, but you can just put it down for a second here if you want to rest. You know what I'm saying? Last one we're going to do is on our back. We're going to have this object in front of us, up here like this. I'll be pushing my low back into the floor as tight as I can. And then we'll lower down that object down to the floor, and then exhale and crunch up, bring it towards our toes. We definitely do not need to touch our toes, but we will reach in that direction so that we can get both of your shoulder blades lifting off of the floor. It's very important that that low back stays in contact the entire time, especially as you're reaching behind your head. You walk it back down, and then we exhale as you crunch up, and even more so again, push that back down. 10 seconds left, okay? So we need like 2 more. Nice and slow. Both shoulders coming off. You got it. All right. 3, 2, 1, and there it is, my friends. That was our first set. So we're doing it again 3 more times, and then we are done. So we're back to the side plank. Put it first because you want to get it done first. You know what I'm saying? So get yourself ready. Side plank starting in 3, 2, 1, and let's do it. Okay, so you can go right to whatever level you found was challenging but manageable. You don't have to go through the whole cycle unless you want to give that hardest one a go. Another way to make this side plank harder, for those of you who are feeling like it is, a little bit easy, we can lift up into this star side plank. You will get lots of, I should say, involvement in the muscles of your hip, but it's going to make it feel a lot more challenging for those of you who are getting strong and wanting to challenge your side planks. All right, almost there. In 3, 2, 1, and 10. Relax for 20 seconds only. And also flip over and or switch sides, okay? Because we're going to need to get ready to start our second side in 10 seconds. Oh, the side plank hold. Always harder than you remember them as. All right, get ready, get set, and let's do it. Okay, same exact thing that you did on the first side. We need to keep it even. There you go. Good job, you guys. Okay, chest up. There it is. Remember to breathe. It can be very easy, especially when we're working our core and planks specifically, to hold our breath. I'll tell you, that does not make it any easier. It's just going to make you a little dizzy, lightheaded. So do make sure that that breath is flowing. We have 10 more seconds left. Okay. 3, 2, 1, and side plank. Second set is done. Okay, so we're going into our second exercise, that twist to press. So in this one, first things first, we want to walk our hips back, which is something I didn't really explain in the first set, but it makes a big difference. So we're sitting like on the bottom of our sit bones, not on the back of our tailbone. Makes it a lot more easy or manageable feeling to sit in this position. Whereas if you don't walk your hips back, you might feel like you want to kind of rock back like this. So we'll see if we can do that, or we start this. But your timer has already started. You guys have 25 seconds left. So let's do it. Trying to keep our chest up. Keep our legs as still as possible. So you don't want too much shifting side to side in your feet and legs, which I know is the hard part. 10 seconds. You can do it though. This again. Okay. And a time. All right. The last one. We have this weighted crunch here. So actually do not start yet. Wait it out. We're going to go through this one. Again, same thing with this one. The weight is going to make a big difference on how hard this is. If you guys are using a heavy dumbbell, it's going to make this feel a lot more challenging. Not just on your abs and your core, but also on your shoulders and your upper body muscles. Because they are working hard when we're reaching this dumbbell back here. But to help keep it mostly on the core, we need to push the back down. Okay, so the whole entire set, the entire 40 seconds, which you're in right now, you are fighting the floor with the low part of your back. 20 seconds left. There it is. Okay, exhale, both shoulder blades, maybe you got it. is 3, 2, and rest. Nice work, you guys. And that was weird. Random spam number and at the same time as the timer. Okay, so we're resting. Moving on to our third set. Back to the side planks. Oh, here we are again. All right, so again, you have one side that's harder. Start on that side. You're starting right now. Okay, so let's go. Get it done. Trying to keep it as consistent as we can as per our first 2 sets. We want our chest up. We want to look forward. You can also look up at the ceiling, but I would suggest avoiding looking down at your hand or your arm because it tends to kind of make our neck bend, put us into sort of a weird bent over position. So looking forward, chest open, 10 seconds left. I know side planks are really hard, but you can do this. I've already done it twice. Okay, we got this. 3, 2, 1, and rest, and flip over. Nice work. All right, so we're going to get this other side. Same thing. Starting in 5 seconds. So get ready, get set, and let's go. Lift it up and let's do it. Okay, remember you only have one more set after this, right? So this is the second last time that you are here. We are in the home stretch now. Halfway, you guys. 20 seconds left. You're going this way. Okay, breathe through this. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Nice work. Okay. Twist, twist, press. 40 seconds. All right. One more set after these ones, and then we are done. Okay, grab your weights and walk your hips back. Your weight, rather. I said weights. I meant the one. We'll lift up into that V position. Again, we want to try to get our shins in this tabletop rather than in this position here. So lift them up, and then we'll move the shoulders. Actually follow the dumbbell with the shoulders, with the eyes, and then we press up over our head. And try not to lose our balance because that is the hard part here. Okay, 20 seconds left. There it is. Let's get it. Let's get it. Okay, breathing through this one. 5 seconds. Give me one more. Both ways. And up. 3, 2, and time. Okay, so you can lay on your back with this final one, our third set. And we have our final set. Woo-hoo. All right, so lift up those legs. Take a deep breath. Holding your dumbbell, whatever you're holding in your hands, and back into the floor. Exhale, and we'll crunch it up. Try to keep that back down. Okay, so shoulders leave, but this down here is never going to leave. In fact, you want to make it stronger. Every rep, try to make it stronger, push the back down stronger. That's where you're going to get that core involvement. Okay? I know it's harder to do it like that. You got 15 seconds left, though. Not so close. For the core, the abs, let's get it. 3, 2, 1, and rest. Okay, this is it, my friends. We are here, the final set of these ones. Okay, so we're into the side planks. We are gonna get them done. Okay, final round of these side planks. And then last 2 exercises. And then we are out of here. Are you ready? Get ready, get set. And here we go. Let's do it. Let's go. So we'll hold this here, finishing off this final set as strong as we can. Okay, even though we don't really want to do it. Okay, our body doesn't really want to do it. It's tired. Our mind doesn't really want to do it. Okay, the side planks are really hard, but just do it. Okay, you have 20 seconds left. You're going to feel amazing after this set. After we're finished all these last exercises, if you do them as strong as you can, if you hold them here the whole time. 10 seconds left. Okay, so just take a couple more deep breaths. Don't give up on yourself. 3, 2, 1, and look at this. We have 20 seconds of rest. Okay, so relax, lay down. Yes, you have to get back up on the other side. Okay, so switch around. 10 more seconds for you to breathe. Woo! All right, get ready, you guys. We sit. 3, 2, lifting up, and let's go. Final side plank set. The sentence you've been waiting for. Since I told you were doing side planks. I don't know. These ones are totally my nemesis. I always find side planks to be extremely challenging, which is why I always talk about them like that. 20 seconds left, you guys. Okay, so just hold it. The thing about planking, all types of planking, is that we have to force ourselves to do it in order to get stronger at it. Okay, so remember that right now. 10 seconds left. Let's do it. Just hold it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and the side planks are done. For today, for the week, that is good news. Okay, so let's get these twists to press. Final set of them. The crunches, and we're done. Not too bad, right? Okay, hold on, don't start yet. 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So we want big rotation and breathing through this entire thing. Trying to keep your chest up, keep your shoulder blades relaxed. We're not losing our neck with our shoulders. Okay, try to relax them down. 20 seconds, we're halfway through this one. All right, strong finish. One more, both ways, up over the head. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it is. Okay, last one. Woo! We are here. Final set, final exercise. And then we are going to stretch it out and be done. Get on with our days. All right, lift up those legs. Grab that dumbbell. 5 seconds. Back down. Big inhale. Reach that dumbbell back. And then use that air, that exhale, to bring those shoulder blades off the floor, keeping your chin tucked in. And we'll try to get that back down strong. 30 seconds is all we need from you on this one. On all of them, because you're going to be done after this. Halfway there, 20 seconds left. All right. So same thing with this one, just get it done. 10 more seconds. Okay, breathing through it. A couple more of these in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are so very done. Nice job, my friends. We are finished for the day. Look at you. So we are going to go through a couple of quick stretches, which start down on the floor. You can flip over onto your hands and your knees, and you're going to want to, because this one feels very good after what you just did. We're going to round our back and then arch our back, and you can do as many of these as you want. To exhale as I go through each one. So exhale as I round, and then I inhale, and then exhale as I arch. Get a nice stretch in the core and the abs on that one. And then the low back, up back on this one. So we can do this 3 to 5 to 6 to 10 times. You can do it as many times as you want. It feels nice, and it's going to help us loosen up everything in the core and your back. After you're finished your desired amount of reps, we can sit on our heels, walk our hands away into this child's pose, which is another one that just simply feels really good and will help us open up our entire back, starting from our low back up into those lat muscles that we worked so much. So we can hold this here 30 to 60 seconds, stretching out this back. And then the other ones that you should do today are for your chest and shoulders, which are standing. So you can find yourself a door frame, as I typically would suggest, as it helps us to simply just save time to do both sides at once. You can also reach behind your back, do a little bit of this action, or you can focus in on one side at a time by bringing yourself to a wall, turning away, and stretching that chest and shoulder out. So we did a lot of pressing, a lot of raising, a lot of work on the shoulders. So this is you guys again, 30 to 60 seconds per side. Anything else that you want to stretch is totally up to you. Perfect time to do it because you're nice and warm. but you are done with me. So thank you guys so much for coming out and joining me in the Zoom room. Oh, rock. And if you're watching the replay, please drop a comment below so I know you're here. And hopefully you have a great day. And I will see you guys tomorrow for legs. Okay, bye.